class. In this video, I'm going to go over our final clinical field experience assignment, which is all about instructional strategies. So for this assignment, you should have allocated 5 hours in the field to support this field experience. And you are required to teach a lesson you developed in topic 5 to a small group or the whole class. Now, if the lesson you developed in topic 5 is for a different grade level, that's okay. You can use a different lesson, but you want to make sure that you're teaching this to either a small group or whole class. If you are using videos in place of this assignment, one alternative is to teach children that you have access to. So you can use your own children, your nephews or nieces, or grandchildren, or the neighbors, whoever that is in your kind of bubble as you are working to try to teach some kids that maybe you know. Now, if you don't have any children that you can teach, you can still use the videos in place of this in place of teaching, but it is going to be a little more challenging to write up, and you'll see why as I go through the instructions. Okay, so following your lesson, you want to get feedback from your mentor on the strengths and opportunities for growth in teaching your lesson. Now, if you're teaching online, that's okay. A lot of us are. Just go ahead and make sure that you spend some time with your mentor so you can find out what you are doing well and areas that you can grow. Now, for the rest of those hours, you can assist the mentor with supporting the class. Now, for your write-up, I did create a template for this. And so on the template, we'll go over each of these parts. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, so on the template, I just included the directions like I like to do, just so you have them right there. You can delete this when you are ready to submit. And when you are thinking about the lesson you taught, you want to be talking about how you provided opportunities for students to justify and explain their mathematical thinking. So how are you getting students to do the talking and justifying what they did and why they did it, or explain their mathematical thinking? Now, I know in the virtual teaching environment that this is a little more challenging because it's harder to get students to be able to talk as much, and you don't utilize things like turn-in talks like you would in the classroom. But just be thinking about how in the virtual environment can I do that? How can I get kids to talk? Can you use breakout rooms? Can you have students share individually? Can you have them do something like a Nearpod slide where they can make an audio comment and explain their thinking themselves, and you can go back and review those. All right, the next area is one or more interpersonal communication activities such as pairs or small groups. And so this kind of goes into what I was talking about here is like on the virtual environment, it might be a little harder. So how are you trying to get those interpersonal communication activities if you are in a virtual setting? And how did you involve writing and math vocabulary being taught? So those are all things that you're going to think about when we come to the write-up. So let's go ahead and look at what we're writing. So first I want you to give me a summary of the lesson that you're teaching and your observations. I need to know the context and what of the field experience. So what grade, what was the topic of instruction? If you were watching videos, summarize what the videos were about. This serves as that introduction for me when I'm reading your assignment. I understand kind of the context in which the lesson took place. In the next area, you're going to talk about the strengths and weaknesses of your lesson. So what went well, and what do you think could have gone better? And why do you think those difficulties were encountered? And what changes did you make maybe during instruction? Why did you make those changes in the moment? If you're watching videos for this, talk about what the teacher did well and maybe some difficulties that you saw or areas that you think they could have changed to enhance any of these things that we're talking about above. So that mathematical thinking, the interpersonal communication, vocabulary, any of those areas you can reflect on with the videos. Reflection to me is one of the most important things you can do as a teacher. So this is the area I want to see a lot of your time and effort put into. How can you get better? What went well? What will you try again? And what do you think you want to get rid of and try something different? All right, the next place is differentiation. And so, what differentiation strategies did you use and were they effective? So, we know that our English language learners need language support. What are you doing to help them be able to justify their thinking or be able to use the correct academic vocabulary? How are you giving them possibly sentence frames or word banks or things where they can be supported? Or special education students might need things broken down into smaller chunks. What are you doing to support them? All right, and then we have our technology. So, what technology did you utilize? And this will be really easy if you're doing the online instruction, but think about some of those applications you used. Not just we're on Chromebooks or we were in a Google Meet, but did you utilize any other technology like Google Slides or Nearpod or Pear Deck or some of those other technologies we've seen be used in the classroom right now? And then what can you do to ensure technology is reaching all of your students? So, for example, you could record your lesson and post it again so that students who had a hard time can watch the video again. So, if they were struggling and they're doing their independent work, they can go back and see the lesson again. And then your reflection. What did you learn and how will you apply this to your future professional practice? Include any references if you used any videos or any references to support your ideas. If you have any questions as you're working on this assignment, especially if you have to modify it for a different type of experience, don't hesitate to reach out.